How you doing today, folks? Today I'm going to be filming a series on how to install a new landscape. And I filmed this series a while ago, but I want to share it with you because what I want to do is take you from the first day on the job, when I start the job, through the entire process of installing a new landscape. And it's going to be a combination of how to install the landscape and just the day-to-day life of installing a new landscape, for lack of a better term. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all these videos under a playlist that's going to be called How to Install a Landscape, but the individual videos I'm going to try to target exactly what's going on that day. So in this video I'm going to very briefly talk about calling before you dig, but each video I'm going to try to make something, whether it's how to plant plants, how to edge gardens, how to mulch gardens. I'll have separate videos. People ask me sometimes, why do I make these videos? Why do I give away all the secrets? And I'm of the opinion that there's three types of people in this world. There's people that are just so busy with work that they'll never have the time to install a landscape, and I'd like them to see how the landscape should be installed the right way. There's people which we call DIYers, do-it-yourselfers, who want to do the job themselves, but maybe they don't know how. So I want to make videos so that the do-it-yourself people know how to do the job right themselves. And then the third category of people that I make these videos for is people who are in the trade, but maybe they don't have much experience with planting a landscape. And by making this series, I can kind of teach some of the things I've learned through the years and raise their game as well. In the end, the basic reason I'm doing this is to educate. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start the series on how to install a landscape. I like to start with what I know and then work towards what I don't know. I wanted to take the formality of the house and the informality of the woods and kind of make the two combine. I'd like to show you how not to mulch around a tree. It's a step that I see very few landscapers doing. You want to make sure to have variation in your heights. Look at how lovely this is. We just cued the butterfly to come in. How you doing today, folks? Today I'd like to go ahead and make a series about how to install a new landscape. Now for this series, I'm not going to really talk about the design aspect of it. I'm going to strictly stick to the nuts and bolts about how to get the landscape installed. So I'm going to assume you've already got your landscape design prepared, and you know what you're looking to do. And if you don't have a landscape design, I hope you've just got a general idea of what the end result should look like. You're not always going to have the perfect end result in mind, but the steps you're going to take will be very similar. So this is going to be the introduction to the series. And before I come out and actually start working at a job, what I will end up doing is calling a utility locating service. In Connecticut, we call it call before you dig. So what you'll do is, in the next video, I'm going to show you how to mark your lines where the beds are going to be, but you'll call this utility marking service, and they'll come out, and it usually takes them about 3 working days to come out and mark where the utilities are. And that way, if you have to dig into the ground, you're going to know that you're not going to be digging into the gas line or the water line or something like that. Now usually for landscape work, most of the utilities are deeper than we're digging, but it's always better safe than sorry. You'll know where the utilities are, just in case you are planting a big tree or something, you won't have any trouble with that. So our next video in the series is going to be about how to actually mark the beds. Well, we got off to a bit of a slow start in this one, but I guarantee we're going to pick up some pace. I can't tell you how nervous you feel when you show up at a house, you unload your truck, and the first thing you do is set up a video camera and start talking to a video camera. And I just want to thank my clients on this job and on all the jobs I film for having the patience to let me film on their property and let me show their properties off. Before we end this video, I just want to mention how important it is to call before you dig and to also just know where all the irrigation lines, regular voltage, line voltage lines are, low voltage lines, any lines or obstructions in the landscape, because you really want to make sure you don't break them. If you're a contractor, because you don't want to have to fix them, and if you're a homeowner, because it's just a pain to fix things, to call someone else to fix things, or with line voltage wires, you could do some serious damage. So I always try to go through the landscape and look for, if there's a lamppost out there, I'll see if I can follow the wire, see where the wire comes out of the house and follow it through and know where the path of that wire is. And the other thing I do is I never, ever drive over septic tanks with machinery or trucks, septic tanks and leaching fields, because I do not want to break those and have to pay for them. I always ask my clients where it is exactly. I give that plenty of leeway, and I just don't drive over. If for some reason there was a job where the only access was to go over the septic tank or the leaching field, I would call a septic fella in to tell me the best way to drive over it, what to do to protect it, or I'd also use a smaller machine. I have a Dingo, which is small, it's got a very light footprint, so I would use that to go over the leaching fields. I don't mind going over with the Dingo, but septic tanks I'm very, very careful about. So we're going to see if we can pick up some more momentum in the next video, but thanks a lot for watching today, folks. Take care.